Like I said, my name is Jitapalo. I come from Bodignana in Perth. And well, this is the first time for me visiting a monastery with a mixed community, with a nuns and monks community. They are nicely separated here now, so that feels good to me. They're not too close to each other, because that is usually a big danger in the monastic life. If the males and the females are too close together, then usually what happens is babies and not monastic life. So that is well sorted out. They're a few hundred meters away now from us. We have our own building, and they have their own complex. We come together for the Pindabata, for the alms round, collect the food, and then we separate again. So that's an arrangement I can live with. I'm a while in robes now, and usually it's not my major concern getting married anymore. But I know especially for the junior monks, it's a big danger, and people are careful of that in the monastic life if they want to stay in robes. And with good reason, actually. So, but I think you can feel pretty safe here now. Yeah, the setup is very, very well organized, and the senior nun is very protective of her junior nuns, and everything is kept nicely separated. For the lay people who don't understand that and think we should all be equal and be all hanging out together, one of the biggest problems in robes actually is lust. For males, sexual desire. For females, I don't know, sexual desire maybe as well, but also company, protection, whatever they look for in a man. So after the inspirational time has worn down a little bit, maybe after a few months, a year or two, then the old conditioning is going to come up, and the mind is going to look for happiness wherever it can find it. And usually in the same old places where we looked before. And if you are in a difficult position in your monastic life already, and then you see the beautiful lady, or if you're gay, the beautiful boy, then I cannot protect you from the boys. The boys are gonna hang around. So if you're gay, you might have your own problems actually. But from the female side, actually, you can be protected in the monastic life, and that was the idea of the Buddha. Nothing to do with discrimination. It's a protection of the nuns and the monks in the monastic life. Because without that, we are bound to fall back into our old habits, and especially during these times where we have difficulties. If we don't have the protection in the time where we need it, then it's not a monastic environment. It's not conducive to staying in robes. So I was skeptical in the beginning of a place where the monks and nuns are living together, and but I know with the right separation it can work for people, and I hope the lay community here, the committee, and the monks keep that in mind. Give this effort. Effort is not there for separating, discrimination, whatever political terms they use these days. It's not because it's an old religion and we're not going with the times. It's because of this basic understanding of the psychology of people. when the mind is unhappy, it looks for happiness in the five sense world, and one of the most alluring things for the man is the female, and one of the most alluring things for the female is man, if you're not gay, obviously. So that is one thing I wanted to get off my shoulders before people start with these comments that I heard before, that it's an antiquated religions with old views, and not at all. If you know your own psyche a little bit, you know, if you want to go in that direction, I have to protect myself in a certain way. So we entered the Vasa now, the raining season. And the raining season is a time where the monks didn't travel. I think it originated from one of the big problems at the time was the raining season was the time when the farmers planted their rice. And the monks were wandering around, and there obviously were not many proper roads. And so they wandered through the rice paddies where the fresh rice plants or the new rice plants were starting to grow. And people complained that their rice got trampled. And then they decided with the Buddha, or the Buddha decided, that this is a time the monks should use to stay in one place, and also, but use it as a time where the duties, the day-to-day challenges, the repairs and the teachings and the travelings, the visits, whatever happens in a day-to-day life of the monks usually should be wound down in that time. And a beautiful opportunity for the monks, if you have a little bit of fun being by yourself. Sometimes it can be a challenge as well if you're unhappy, and during that time there's even less sensual input that can make you obviously then even more unhappy. No? It's even more challenging. But if you're lucky and you found a little bit of appreciation to having time for yourself, then the Vasa is a time to celebrate. For me. It's not. I have very little duties here in the monastery now. I still have to give this talk, which is obviously a tremendous burden. But apart from that is a little bit of cleaning, and you just get your food, and then you drink your coffee, and then you can go back to your hut. And thankfully and very gratefully from my side, they provided us here with very new, beautiful huts. I mean, I live in a luxury I haven't encountered for 20 years, apart from living with my parents actually to visit. So I have my own toilet and my own shower and floor heating. Now actually I have a constant 20 degrees in my room, almost constant. And it's just, wow, it's incredibly comfortable. Huh? And I guess you're living at home, hopefully in good conditions. You're used to a certain degree of comfort in your home. So you don't see that anymore. Huh? I'm coming from less comfort. I have still a tremendous appreciation for that, luxury for me, almost. Huh? So, and that is part of my contemplation with you today. This is the things that we overlook because we have them day by day by day by day. So there comes this break of the vasa for the monks when they were more busy, now to less busyness. And there can be that appreciation. This, oh, thank you very much. I'm still getting fat here. I mean, our resident Anagarika every day puts this tremendous amount, making us this beautiful breakfast here in the morning. It's just like pure luxury, like a hotel, first class. Just coming in and you get anything you want for breakfast. No, I didn't have that for quite a while as well. Usually it was my brown rice in the morning, and now I can have my cheese toasties and my fresh ground coffee and all sorts of things on the side, and eggs and spring onions and I don't know what. And it's just, thank you very much. It's, there can be gratitude in that because you have this. If you don't have it before, you see it more clearly. And this is the problem, staying in one place, staying with your family the whole time, or staying alone the whole time, staying in your apartment. Is this all the things that we have day by day by day by day, they retreat completely into the background. And what becomes more prominent is all the things that should be different, all the things we don't have. Everything that we don't want, everything that didn't work out, and that was the last bit of coffee, and no coffee this morning. What a big deal. So if your mood changes already because you cannot have that cup of coffee in the morning, reflect. How dependent do you want to be on such a little external pleasure? How much pleasure is there really in that realm? How much pleasure is in that coffee? A little bit of energy and sip, 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 and it's gone. Even with the nicest frothy milk in it, still gonna be gone, and it's still gonna give you only a certain amount of pleasure. So, if you have it, enjoy it and be grateful. If you don't have it, don't suffer for nonsense like that. And this this can be the little wisdoms. It's not the great insights, and it's not the jhanas yet or whatnot, but it's if we want to get there, if we want to get to the deeper meditations, we need to develop a very, very wholesome mind state. It's like it's a step ladder. And it's going up step by step by step by step. It's not that you can have a miserable, angry mind and you sit down meditation and you're going to go into deep meditation if you just try hard enough. That's not how it works. The mind needs to be uplifted. The whole character needs to be uplifted. This level, what we call ourself, let's say the average mood of ourself. We have this sinus curve, and it goes up and down, and the baseline of that in between the up and down, that line has to be lifted. That the ups, when we do the right reflections and we develop wholesome mind state, it just goes into an upper curve that is high enough, and that happiness just takes you into the meditation, or your meditation takes you into that happiness. but you're gonna need that happiness in your mind, in your character, to reach deep states of meditation. Has nothing to do with fighting and with concentration. It is this slow process, of lifting the mind into a different level. And so for the monks during the Vassa, they have the opportunity to do a little bit more contemplation, do more meditation, and sometimes they overdo it. You think, oh, now is the Vassa, and now is the time, and now I have to go for it. And then you just develop that same ego and that same wanting, that same craving again that you develop for everything else. It's not this patient kindness that is just gonna see what's gonna happen, and just appreciative of having a bit more time. It very easily can become this thing where I want to get something out of it again. And that is something to be aware of for the people staying here in the monastery as well. And often people start trying very hard. And it should never be trying very hard. It should always be trying very softly, actually, and kindly with yourself. And keeping in mind that we are dependent on these five sense pleasures still, because we're still in this. The Buddha described this as this grazing ground of the deer, the Maras ground still. Still the realm of the five senses, where there's happiness and where there's suffering. And that's the realm where we all walk in still, the five sense realm. And as a Buddhist, we can be aware of it. That is the first step. And at least hopefully we have heard that there is described greater happiness, and if we're lucky, we have had a glimpse of something beyond that already. Or maybe even if it wasn't some deep meditation, maybe even this glimpse of this few moments of contentment, where you had this feeling that nothing more is needed in that moment. There's so much bliss in that already, just this realization for a few seconds, I don't need anything right now. Completely okay with what it is. Whatever is right now is so nice. And obviously you don't even contemplate, because in that moment there's no contemplation. It's just this enjoyment and that knowledge that these things exist in our own mind. We are not dependent on these outside conditions for the happiness that is well, I don't want to say within us, but it let's say something buried there the whole time, buried by this addiction, by this craving. But that doesn't diminish the craving yet. That doesn't change the craving. We're still gonna be addicted, and the monks are gonna enjoy their coffee. And I remember a story. There were these monks in Sri Lanka, and the lay supporters tried to do something to help the monks, because the monks shouldn't be addicted to sensual pleasures anymore. So they stopped putting spices in the food, actually. So the food was completely bland. And what happened is the monks didn't get enlightened any quicker. And they just hated the food, actually. And this is also this is obviously not the way it works. It's not just I'm gonna stop doing something and then my mind is gonna change and I'm not gonna crave it anymore. Where I was on this deer ground, the Maras realm of where we're grazing, where we're obviously always in the danger of getting eaten by something. Grazing on the five senses in that The Buddha described them as a deer park, something like that, and the deers are grazing there in the realm of the five senses. And obviously, in this park, there is this danger of old age, sickness, and death, and the tigers roaming around. And there is something nice to eat, but it's also the danger there of getting eaten yourself. And even the Buddhists and even the monks, they are still living in this deer ground and grazing on the five senses. It's just the way it is. But I mean, the advantage we can have is as sort of just an idea in the background that there might be something else but that realm of this ground where there's this constant danger. And to get out, wanting to go to this place where the grass is so green and the flowers are so tasty, not wanting to go there is only helps for a short while. And then if the mind doesn't find any happiness anywhere else, we're going to go back there. I mentioned that a talk ago or 2 talks ago with the monks who are in robes for a very long time, 30 years or more, and then they disrobe. How is that possible? What is wrong? Is there something wrong with the Buddhist teaching? Is there something wrong how the monks practice? Is the whole thing maybe not working at all? Or maybe Buddhism is complete nonsense? So we have to figure out what is working for us in their teaching, what makes sense, and obviously just refraining through 227 rules for the monks not to do things anymore is not enough. This is not gonna curb the desire. The desire can be as strong as before. You're maybe not as used to outliving it anymore, but you're going to enjoy it as much as when you were a layperson, again, after a while. All the things you couldn't do as a monk. And that after so many years. So what is happening? What is happening here? And it's because we're still on this grazing ground with the nice flowers and the grass, and we just kept away from the super green grass and the very nice flowers for a while because as a monk you got promised something better. But if you don't get anything better after a while, you're gonna go back there. It's just the way it is. The mind is looking for happiness. And if you don't find it in the spiritual life, you're gonna go back to the worldly life to find it there. And this is why it is so important to get a glimpse of the happiness the Buddha is talking about. This happiness beyond the five sense realm. And to be able to go there, we need to develop our sila. We need to develop this virtue, this kindness in our minds. And we don't, if you are afraid that you have to be the kind man all the time, actually, and you get disgusted by that idea already, and I myself can think in that direction, because I also don't want to be a doormat for anybody. You don't have to. It's not about that. It's about the states that arise in your mind, the thoughts that arise in your mind. Sure, I don't want to be trampled upon, but how ready do I have to be all the time? On the lookout for the threat out there? Somebody is trying to roll over me? If you have a mind like that, it's very unpeaceful. Just watch very closely. But if you have a more trusting mind, you can still be alert and you can still say no, if people want something from you that you don't want. And that doesn't have to be unkind. And saying yes doesn't not necessarily have to be kind. It can be fear as well. Or can be wanting to be a good Buddhist but never feeling it. So now with the crisis still in place, some of you might still have the opportunity to look a little bit closer at that. Look at your thought process. Look and ask yourself, where is this thought process going? What is the direction of that thought process? Is it going in a direction where there's more happiness for myself? Or is it just going into a direction where I become more defensive, more aggressive, where it feels more stressful already in the moment? So we have the 5 precepts as a course guideline for the whole thing, and I think I was expected to do the recollection and the chanting of the 5 precepts, but I don't see the reason why I have to do that every week with you. I mean, how hard is it to remember 5 precepts? How hard is it? And for me, a lot of these rituals, they become a means that you don't have to do anything. Oh yeah, I chanted my 5 precepts and I have done it for the week. No, this is your guideline for your life. If you want to have a safety net, if you want to have any chance of developing a peaceful mind, you don't kill anything. You don't steal from anybody. You don't lie to people, and you obviously, if you take drugs, there always comes this point where the mindfulness goes, especially with alcohol. Most of the precepts are broken when people are drunk. So there is some danger there as well. But the point is, when does the mind loses its mindfulness? When does it lose that ability to distinguish what is wholesome and unwholesome? And not harming other beings is the major guideline for the happiness that we need to develop to have a chance of good meditation. If there's constant fight in your day-to-day life still with people, there's obviously not enough peace and happiness in your mind to that you have a chance for good meditation. The funny thing in the monastery always was there were always some monks around, and they were supposed to be incredibly restrained, and they gave up so much, and this vasa, they didn't drink coffee, and they didn't drink this, and they only ate once a meal and once a day, and they meditated 10 hours a day at least, and they didn't lie down or whatnot. And it's just, it always sounded very impressive. And it's sort of, oh wow, they're really going for it. But if you encountered these people, there was no ease, there was no kindness, there was no niceness, there was just this determination, this wanting to get somewhere. And I encountered that over the years quite a few times. And then there always came the stories afterwards when they talked with an Ajahn, actually also, oh, you had incredible good meditation, really good meditation again. It's just like, wow, at least nimittas, if not jhanas, wow, amazing. Just like, yeah, he's doing really well. And when I was young, I believed that nonsense because you don't know any better. You really think that is the way? You just have to try hard enough, and the people who don't achieve anything, they're just not trying hard enough. But then getting a glimpse of what happiness is actually, and what letting go means, and what is not coming, and nothing is coming to you. No happiness is coming to you. It's shit falling from your shoulders. That's all it is. It falls off from your shoulders, and you were not a single moment aware that you were carrying that around with you. That is the happiness. There are no lights and I don't know what insights coming there. It's just the insight that there's a burden that is constantly carried around, which is unnecessary. And by increasing that burden, by treating yourself harshly and by doing all these things, refraining from enjoying this little sensual pleasures of having a good cup of coffee or whatever it is. Just cutting that off as well, and cutting that off as well, and cutting the next thing off. It doesn't. Why would you treat your mind like that? What can be the benefit of that? I mean, if that really makes you happy, if you're that boxing champ character like Acha Mahaboa or whatnot, maybe they get some happiness out of that, just out of the fight. But what I saw is just a lot of talk, how great their meditations are. And obviously I'm not going to tell you any names, but the people either have disrobed or they ended up as some people nobody wants to live with. They are the people who strove so hard and so diligent, and they were so tough. And there's no happiness there. Absolutely no happiness. If that is the happiness of the Buddha, basically, then I go back to Christianity, actually. I believe in Jesus Christ again. I'm going to be saved, actually. Don't want to have anything to do with that. The Buddha described a path, actually, where you lift up your mind step by step by step. You need the patience, and then you need a little bit of wisdom to see if you're making progress on that path, because it's not going to be the big steps. It's just going to be the little things where you see a little bit clearer and a little bit faster. That is, this is leading to more suffering. I'm not going to go that way. I know this thought process already. And sometimes you have to do it again and again and again and again, but it, just from my own experience, I see it now a little bit faster. And I said recently to some of my fellow monastics here, that is, one thing that happened for me is I don't take the nonsense, the bullshit back to my heart anymore. If something really terrible happens or whatnot, that might still throw me out, and I chew on it in my heart, but it hasn't happened for years now. I get angry and I get disappointed and whatnot, but it's gone very quickly. It's when I go back to that lovely place with my floor heating now, I don't bring any anger or ill will back to that hut. It's not lasting that long anymore. And that is a progress I can see for myself. Because if you don't see any progress in your practice, what good does Buddhism do you? What is it? What is it for? I mean, if it's just another thing to believe in. I mean, we all come, some of you guys here, you come from a Buddhist background, so you might just stick with it your whole life or whatnot, don't question it. I come from a Christian background. So I renounced, or basically I didn't have to renounce it. It just didn't make any sense to me, that business, basically, the whole God business, after a while, after I had grown up. But still, I come from a different background. So what has this Buddhism thing to offer me? If it's just another belief in something, I can stick with Jesus because I like Jesus. He was a great hero of mine, actually. So please look very closely. Why are you a Buddhist? You were supposed to take 3 refuges with me today, to the bow to the Buddha, bow to the Dhamma, and to the Sangha. And taking refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, what does that even mean? What do you take refuge in? In another belief? Do you take refuge in the Sangha? What is the Sangha? Are the monks the Sangha? You want to take refuge in me? You must be crazy. Take refuge in yourself. Take refuge in your practice. See what works in your practice. Why did the Buddha ask us to keep 5 precepts? Why? If you see the safety in the 5 precepts, you don't have to chant them every week. It's not a reason in the world that you wanna kill anybody. Or it might still happen. Actually, I don't know, because you want to defend somebody or yourself. But there's no chance that I would defend that anymore. Killing people, lying to people. If you want to be honest, want people to be honest with you. If you're a liar yourself, you're not going to encounter these people. They're going to figure you out. And after a while, you cannot even trust yourself anymore. So, and how are you going to see clearly what is going to happen in your own mind if you're not honest? No chance. If you're constantly full of booze and drugs, how are you going to have a clear mindset that can discern of what is going on there in that mind? Impossible. And I mean, stealing is such a coarse thing, and it just to have that trust with your friends around and with people around, that they can leave things out, and you would never touch them if you were not asked to. That if you don't have that sense of harmlessness, of guilelessness, how is it supposed to be possible to go into your meditation and let go? This letting go is an opening up, and it becomes very unfamiliar, and without 5 precepts, it's going to become incredibly scary, I guarantee you. Because if you cannot trust yourself in that moment, in your own goodness, actually, you're never going to open up. Not if hell freezes over. It's not going to happen. And you're not going to have the great meditation just by fighting. And I just don't believe in it. And I haven't seen it. In 20 years, I haven't seen the guys who practice so super hard. The people who are kind. The people who have a mind that is so wholesome for a long time, that they just sit down and they just bliss out. That's the best way meditation happens. Have your mind so wholesome for such a long time, you don't have to sit down to meditate. It just becomes so much already. You're just gonna sit down, and it's just gonna happiness increasing, and the tear starts flowing, and you're just gonna get warm, and the thing is gonna open up, and meditation is happening, and that is what a beautiful mind state can do, what a wholesome mind can do, and you don't do that for anybody else. You just do that for yourself, so you don't have to be afraid that somebody's going to take advantage of you. It's the best thing for yourself, and the beautiful thing is that it's also the best thing for other people at the same time. Because it's the nicer you develop your mind, obviously, the nicer it is to hang around you. So I encourage you, for the time you have left during the Corona crisis, for us here in the monastery who have all the time in the world, and don't push it, and watch closely what mind states are coming up. Identify, is that mind state going in a direction that leads to more happiness or more unhappiness? And just be very, very honest and patient, and make a mistake or two. You can try different passes. You can try the angry path and see where the mind goes afterwards. See where it goes when you go into defensiveness. See where it goes if you go into fault finding, into negativity. Just don't be afraid. Just look very closely where it goes. Does it feel more peaceful there? Does it feel happier there? Can that be the direction of peace and happiness? And if not, then you have learned something. You have to remind yourself again the next time. But after a while the mind sees, this is a path I know already, and just leads to more suffering. So I hope I encourage you to treat yourself nice, and obviously the people here in the monastery wish you all the best for the rains, and the people at home, take care and have a little bit of patience with yourself. And if there are any questions, I'm going to try my best and answer them.
Bhante, we have a question here. The question is true love comes from heart or mind? Can meditation be a way to achieve unconditional love?
Can true love come from heart or mind? First of all, we have to see what do we mean with heart and what do we mean with mind. So in Buddhism, heart is Citta. That is actually my name. Citta Palo means the guardian of the heart, but they also translate it as mind as well in English. So there is not, in the English language, is often not greatly discerned between mind and heart. So from the Christian tradition, and often from the Western concept of mind and heart, when we say he has a good heart, that means he has a good character, a good nature. He's a good-natured person. We wouldn't say he has a good mind. If I take it from a Buddhist perspective, Citta, I see that as the ground of all the tendencies. The Citta is the battleground of all our tendencies, all our wanting and not wanting. Is that realm of the Citta, the heart. So if you have a good heart, that means you have developed your tendencies already in a direction where there is more wholesome tendencies than unwholesome tendencies. If you have a good mind, maybe we could think about it more as a thing in the moment, that you have wholesome mind states or unwholesome mind states. So in that sense, obviously, if you have developed a wholesome heart, a more permanent thing as having a wholesome mind. But you need these wholesome mind states over and over again to reduce the unwholesome tendencies in your heart and to increase the wholesome tendencies in your heart. So both are important. But once there are tendencies in your heart, they obviously are stronger, and you have the pull of the tendency to help you with. For example, let's say you have a tendency to anger as an unwholesome tendency. But you develop, so the only thing that holds you back maybe is either Jesus said or Buddha said or whatnot, anger is not good for me. Maybe your doctor said that as well. So you have a few inputs that discourage you from being angry already, but the anger is still going to come up. If you don't develop any tendencies that takes you away from that anger, you only have these mental reminders to take you away from that anger. And everybody who ever got angry knows how little this means when we are angry already. These little reminders in the mind once we're angry. So if you have something that pulls you away from that anger as a tendency, like something lovely you encountered or whatnot, maybe you were angry and somebody treated you still incredibly kind. So basically, there was a tendency of your kindness was made aware of what was going on in that moment, and that thing just gets activated now when you become angry. You have something that pulls, because it's these tendencies, they pull. Tendency, tendere, means leaning towards. Leaning towards. So if you have a tree and you cut a tree, it's going to fall in that direction it leans towards already. It's very hard to get it in the other direction. That is what a tendency is, or a rubber string that is pulled tight already. Very hard to work against that. So the mind can only reduce these tendencies, this chitta, this heart, very slowly, changing these tendencies by right contemplation, but also by feeling yourself in the right direction. Feeling yourself into something kinder and something that feels more wholesome and better. So that is the difference between the mind and heart as I understand it in Buddhism. What was the second part of the question, please?
Can meditation be a way to achieve unconditional love? Let me to repeat that.
Meditation is meditation from a Christian background is basically contemplation. So in meditation, we can also sit down and see what thought come up in the mind, or direct the thoughts in the mind. And if you direct your thoughts in a wholesome direction, we call that metta meditation. Spreading goodness towards yourself, spreading goodness towards others. So the meditation helps you, and your contemplation helps the meditation, and one goes with the other. And obviously there can come certain points where the whole thing reaches this critical mass, and it becomes something incredibly powerful and beautiful. And that is actually when it becomes real. Before that, it's just thought often. May I be well, may others be well, may everybody be well. But nothing is really going on. But if you can add to that stuff, and you can be skillful, and you can maybe remember some beautiful things you did for somebody, or somebody else did to you, and you get a feeling, an emotional connection to that whole concept of just thoughts and of contemplation, and then it becomes something very powerful, and then it becomes loving kindness. And then obviously with that kindness is very attractive to the mind. And it makes aggression and every other state very unattractive. So that is a powerful incentive for the mind to continue in that direction. And so I would say yes, from that moment onwards you have a good chance to develop that universal love, or whatever you want to call it, actually stronger and stronger.
Next question, Bhante. I thought we bow to Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha for their qualities and we also want to develop it. Is that correct? Thanks, Bhante.
Ideally, yes. And ideally, a ritual is something that reminds us of that. My concern and what I've encountered in my personal experience is that these rituals can easily be used as a thing in itself. Ajahn Sumedho said so nicely and so funnily, you can train the monkey to bow 3 times to the Buddha. Actually, it's not going to change anything for the monkey. So if we take this bowing as a reminder while we do it, to contemplate higher qualities, remind us of that what is good and important in our life, obviously the ritual can be helpful. But it's not a guarantee that it's going to take you anywhere. If you just, in Tibetan Buddhism, you have this repeating Om Mani Padme Hum or whatnot for 1,000,000 times. I don't know how many times actually, and you're supposed to reach a certain state, or you have these things of robbing for I don't know how many kilometers and getting up and bowing again and robbing, and this all these rituals, they become something in themselves, as if the power of that ritual would take you anywhere. No, it's that contemplation, that reminder in your mind that hopefully activates this sense of if it doesn't resonate with something in your mind, it's obviously still very weak. Bowing to the Buddha, if you're a bowing character, maybe you get great bliss out of it. I'm myself, I come from Germany. I come from the after-war generation. So the 2 generations before me, they bowed to the Führer, actually, and he instigated one of the biggest mass slaughter in history, and I wasn't keen on that at all. I was not keen about bowing to anybody or respect for the elders or whatnot. They were the Nazis for me. They were the ones getting Germany in the shitters. So I come from a different background. That stuff doesn't inspire me. If it inspires you, go for it. Actually, if you get wholesome mind states out of it, go for it. Light your incense and your candles and make your rituals. And if that's beautiful for you and it helps you, please don't let me ever disencourage you from that. Just for myself, it doesn't work. I tried it for a long time, and then I felt a bit guilty, actually, because it's supposed to work, isn't it, or whatnot. But this is just stuff people make up. This is not from the Buddha or whatnot. This is just like some guys decided some time ago, we're going to bow 3 times, we're going to do this, we're going to do that chanting, actually. And maybe they got something out of it, and it was good for them. And then it becomes a tradition, actually, and then it becomes a ritual, and then it becomes a religion in itself, but it's not. It's what is important is what you take out of it. If you bow to the Sangha, what does it mean to you? If you have that feeling, oh, thank you, but there's still people trying to go in the same direction where I am going, or whatnot, great. Or the Dhamma, there's still a teaching there. I can investigate. I can. There is still visible success. There's still a visible path there for me, leading in a certain direction. Great. But if it's just Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and then I chant once a week, and then afterwards I go to the pub to get pissed again, or whatnot, what does it help? Actually, you can chant your until your throat is raw. It's not going to help you. So I'm not a big chanter, and I'm not big into the rituals. But that doesn't mean they cannot be very wholesome for you if you use the rituals as what they are supposed to be used for, actually, as a contemplation. and something to remind your mind to go to the wholesome states.
Next question is a two-part question.
Mm-hmm.
The first part is, for lay people that wish to follow the Eightfold Path and attain enlightenment, is finding a partner at odds with this? And then the second part is, are feelings of lust that may arise a problem?
For whom? For your partner? You have to know where you are with your mind, what you want to experience, what you have to experience. Is not you have to become a monk, and I have to become a monk now because I heard of enlightenment and that sounds so great and whatnot. But in reality, you want a girlfriend, or you're in love with a girl, or you never had a girlfriend, and you wonder what it's like, or whatnot. People sometimes think it's very important to encourage people to ordain and whatnot, and it's the greatest merit you can make. I don't believe in that at all. I'm sorry. If you have things out there you need to do, if there are is there a path for you where you think you can develop in a wholesome way that you need to experience, go for it. Actually, so. A personal relationship is the realm of happiness and suffering. It's a bit more happy and it's a lot more suffering as well. It's just the way it is. And just be prepared. But we need to make these experiences. And some people may have to make it over and over and over again. But there might come a time when you're tired of that and you're looking for something else, and then there's always opportunity for you to look in the other direction. So it's not the other direction, but it's the direction that is not so dependent anymore on your own happiness. Is not so dependent anymore on as the happiness of your partner and these outside circumstances. And so a hindrance on the way to enlightenment, not necessarily. If you need to experience that, go for it. It doesn't help if you just try to avoid it, in my opinion. What was the second part?
Are feelings of lust that may arise a problem?
Yeah, like I said, a problem for whom, actually? You're a lay person, so you can jerk off or whatever you want. I don't see the problem. If you sit down in your meditation and you're constantly full of lust, obviously that is a problem. If you don't have a moments of peace or whatnot, it can be a problem as well. But we're human beings. We're still in that realm of lust and of happiness and suffering and tasty and non-tasty, whatnot. So sure, lust in that way is a problem. Like all the five senses are a problem. Is dukkha there. Lust and arising, not having your lust fulfilled is suffering again. Having your lust fulfilled then is suffering, is just the next thing coming up. So this is craving. Craving is always going to be a problem. But lust in particular, I'm not a Christian anymore or whatnot. It's not your semen is not holy, and your you don't have to be married to get with a girl or whatnot. Just if in Buddhism, if there's that respect and kindness and consent, that is good enough for a relationship. But obviously, if it's just lust, that's often not enough for a relationship as well. And if it's just lust, then help yourself. Or whatever, it's just, but I don't make it a bigger problem than it needs to be. There's no sin in it or whatnot. That's Christian stuff. It's just the problem is desire, but the overcoming of desire is not by not doing it. Overcoming of desire is developing a wholesome mind that takes you, gets you a glimpse of the realm beyond the five senses, and then you get a pull. You get a pull towards something actually that takes you out of that realm. It's never going to be denying yourself. You deny yourself everything that hurts other people. That's why you keep the 5 precepts, because you hurt others and you hurt yourself. But apart from that, you just look very closely. How happy does it make you? How unhappy does it make you? You are your own laboratory. You can experiment. Go for it. There's no, as long as you don't harm anybody, actually, there's no sin in it or anything. So, okay.
Possibly the last question, Bhante. Is it possible to make progress with the practice while being a lay person who is in touch with all sensual pleasures on a daily basis? Is this a hindrance, or does this allow us to grow?
Well, figure out for yourself. How am I supposed to know? As if you don't have a single moment in your life where you can sit a little bit back and see what's going on in your mind, I guess for me that would be a hindrance. Definitely, I wouldn't like that at all. But maybe you need to be busy all the time. I don't know you. Just see if. For me, a good indicator is always: do my wholesome qualities increase or decrease? Does my patience decrease or increase? And I don't mean just on the bad days or whatnot. It's sort of, you have to have a view over a certain amount of time. We always have our bad days, and then we're impatient and we explode quickly and whatnot. But I mean that if you watch back a few months, a few years over your practice, and look, and it's where is it going? Am I getting closer to that point where I'm ready to die? Because that's what we need to do. We have to die here in this realm. Can I be at ease with that? How at ease would I be right now if I had to die right in this moment? And then if you have a lot of wholesome activities, you do a lot of for others and your family and whatnot, I think that question can still be for you. Yeah, it's all right. I did my best. But if it's just for selfish gains and for just buying something new and I don't know, and keeps yourself busy, then maybe not. Maybe you think it's just, oh wow, how much was that all worth in the end? So yeah, just watch your mind and see if it gets wholesome, and when you sit still, how does it feel? How does it feel, this few moments with no sensual input? Do you feel at ease, at least sometimes? And if not, why not? Investigate. And if you don't have that time, take the time, because you have that time as well, even in the world. There's still some time left, even if you have family and whatnot. And just take your few minutes is very important for your own mind. To have a little look where you are, at which direction are you going. So obviously the people in the monastery have more time to look, but we can waste our time as well here, and monastics can go in the wrong direction as well, from my own experiences. Their minds don't need to become more and more wholesome just because you are in robes. That's not a given, I guarantee you, I promise you. I know enough people actually, their minds didn't get any better just because they were in robes. So yeah, be careful and do your best and watch what you're doing, especially. And if you never have that time, take that time. You deserve that time, and it's important for you to do that, and it's good for you and good for the people around you. that you are aware of what is going on. Okay? That's it? Excellent.